Have you ever had one of those days where you feel like you're just running on a hamster wheel? You're constantly busy, but at the end of it all, you haven't made any real progress? Well, today, we're going to dig into why that happens and, more importantly, how to finally break free from that productivity trap.
I mean, it's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We all know someone like this. That person who cranks out absolutely incredible work in just a few focused hours, while the rest of us are still slogging through emails late into the night. And let me tell you, the secret isn't working more hours, and it's definitely not more coffee. It's really about understanding the neuroscience of focus and building a work system that plays to your brain's strengths, not its weaknesses. And that really gets to the heart of the problem, this trap we all fall into, confusing being busy with actually being productive. It is so easy to get stuck in a state of constant motion. We could call it agitation. You know, that feeling of frantic, reactive work that feels productive, but ultimately it's going absolutely nowhere. Okay, so take a look at this. Which side of the screen feels a little too familiar? Over on the left, you've got agitation. That's constantly reacting to every ping, every notification, trying to juggle a dozen things at once, and just ending the day feeling completely wiped out. But then, on the right, you have progress. This is about creating real value, doing that deep, focused work, and finishing your day with a genuine sense of accomplishment. The thing is, the modern workplace often rewards agitation, but progress is what actually moves the needle. So, if you're stuck in that agitation mode, what's the fix? Well, for most of us, the go-to answer is just to work harder, right? Just put in more hours. But as we're about to see, that strategy is a total recipe for disaster. Why? Because it works directly against our own biology. So what's really going on inside our heads when we're in this state of agitation? Well, it all comes down to something called cheap dopamine. See, every single time you check a notification or fire off a quick email, your brain gets this tiny little hit of pleasure, of reward. And that's the trap. Your brain gets hooked on these easy wins and starts to actively resist the hard, focused work that truly matters. You literally become addicted to interruption itself. And this is the end result. When your entire day is just one reaction after another, you're basically gambling with your time and energy. Yeah, you might win a small hand here and there, like getting your inbox to 0 for 5 minutes, but in the long run, you are guaranteed to lose. Because in this casino of chaos, the house, the distractions, the interruptions, it always wins.
This reminds me of a perfect real-world example, a professional we can call the firefighter. This person was working from 5 a.m. until midnight. Seriously, 15 browser tabs open at all times, constant pings from 3 different chat platforms, just a nonstop whirlwind of activity. But despite all that effort, his core feeling was that he was stuck. He was just putting out fires all day, never actually building anything new. And the firefighter's story just proves it, right? All that energy, without any real direction or focus, is just waste. He was burning through all his mental fuel without ever getting into that state of deep focus that's needed for real breakthroughs. So, if brute force and working harder isn't the answer, then what is? Well, the solution lies in a really fundamental shift in thinking, from relying on sheer willpower to building smart systems that actually force our brains to focus. And this, right here, is the core idea. We love to romanticize willpower, the idea of just pushing through. But the truth is, willpower is a finite resource. It runs out. Consistent, high-quality work isn't a choice you make in the heat of the moment. It is the natural consequence of an environment you designed ahead of time. So how do we actually build these systems? We do it through the power of rituals and contexts. See, your brain absolutely loves triggers. When you set up a specific time, a specific place, and specific conditions for your focused work, you create this powerful ritual. And that context becomes like a switch that tells your brain, okay, it's production time, and it does it automatically, completely bypassing the need for you to try and scrape together motivation. All right, so are you ready to actually build a system that works for you, not against you? Let's dive into the 3 pillars of deep work. This is an actionable framework you can literally start using today. Here they are. It's actually pretty simple. Number 1. We have to embrace discomfort. Deep work is supposed to feel hard, and our brains are going to fight it. Number 2, create barriers. We have to design an environment that actually blocks out all those distractions. And finally, number 3, serve high standards. Aim for mastery, not just ticking a box. Okay, let's break these down a bit more. So, pillar one is all about winning that internal mental battle. When you're wrestling with a really tough problem, your brain, craving that quick, easy dopamine hit, will start screaming at you for a distraction. It'll beg you, just check your phone, open one more tab. The skill here is just to recognize that urge and consciously choose to let it pass without acting on it. Pillar two is how you make sure you don't have to fight that battle all day long. Because remember, willpower is finite. It's going to run out. But a well-structured environment, that's your secret weapon for what feels like infinite focus. This is the practical stuff, putting your phone in another room, using an app to block distracting websites, setting specific non-negotiable times to check email. You're basically making it easier to do the right thing and harder to do the wrong thing. And the third pillar, this one's all about your ambition. When you shift your goal from just getting stuff done to creating truly high-quality, excellent work, it changes the entire game. That high standard forces you to go deeper, to push past your comfort zone. And that is where you grow and create something you're actually proud of. When you start actually living by these three pillars, something really amazing starts to happen. The whole conversation in your head shifts from how many hours did I work to what did I create? It stops being about the input and starts being all about the output and the legacy you're building.
Now get this number, 70. That's the number of hours a week that some top professionals were working only to find themselves completely burned out, in a therapist's office, unable to even enjoy the success they'd worked so hard for. It is the ultimate proof that simply working more is a dead end.
This quote just perfectly captures the new mindset. You have to stop chasing productivity itself. That's not the real goal. Instead, chase excellence, chase depth, chase mastery of your craft. And when you do that, real, sustainable productivity just becomes the natural, inevitable side effect.
So if there's just one thing you take away from all of this, let it be this. Stop fighting your own biology. Understand that your brain is wired to seek distraction, but it thrives on structure. So build the systems and the rituals it needs to do its best work. If you do that, you'll unlock a level of focus and fulfillment you probably never even thought was possible.
So I'll just leave you with this one final thought to chew on. A decade from now, when you look back on your career, what's really going to matter more? A timesheet filled with thousands of frantic, agitated hours, or a body of work you are truly, deeply proud of, built one focus session at a time? The choice, as always, is yours.